Do you know if any supplements do not go along with LDN? Thinking of things like thiamine and the precursor of NAD and quercetin, is there anything apart from opioids that is known to reduce the benefits of low dose naltrexone? Many thanks. Excellent question. No. So I would say the professional supplements that are available over the counter, such as the B vitamins, the antioxidants, whether we're dealing with quercetin, NAD, N-acetylcysteine, even probiotics. There are studies of probiotics and LDN. What I will say is that when we look at the medical issues that people have, all disease is based in inflammation, right? Inflammation can be caused from a nutraceutical or a micronutrient deficiency. We can test for that. It just depends on how much money you want to spend. And I'm sorry that that is so abrupt, but that's really the bottom line, is that micronutrient testing can be expensive. And for a lot of people, that is a stopgap. As a frontline pharmacist, I'm very sensitive to everybody has a budget. Bill Gates has a budget, right? Elon Musk has a budget. Those budgets are bigger than mine, by the way. But the bottom line is that when we enhance the necessary nutrients to allow the cells to work more efficiently, to work the way they should, and we can build the health of the mitochondria, which is the power station of the inside of every cell. It requires very, very, very specific nutrients. And a lot of times our standard diet is very sad, especially the standard American diet. Highly processed, not very many vegetables. Even our meats can be, full of grains that are not necessarily good for us. So based on our condition, diabetes is an inflammatory disease. Obesity is an inflammatory disease. High blood pressure is caused from inflammation. Why do we have high cholesterol? Well, perhaps your thyroid's off. Cholesterol isn't a problem unless you have an inflammatory issue that causes it to stick together, right? So if we can go back and look at what micronutrients are missing, we can a lot of times see that LDN will work better to reduce inflammation even further. So how can we, as everyday individuals, help with that? So there's quite a few researchers that say, take a good multivitamin, take a good B complex, take a good vitamin D supplement, and make sure you've got a good omegas on board. So they're calling that the core 4. I think you should always talk to your pharmacist and talk to your provider. Sometimes I hear the response of, oh, that's just expensive P. Well, no, because you don't necessarily get sick if you have expensive P. So, it's going to help decrease that inflammatory response, but it's also going to help modulate your immune system so that you can actually be healthier, so that when those viruses and those bacteria come after you, because they're all around, right? They're floating around everywhere. Why do some people get sick and some people don't? Well, perhaps they have better micronutrient status than others that are getting sick. So when we can go back to that foundational, that functional medicine, I think that that's where we're going to see most benefit. And I think that that is really where LDN can shine. Should we put LDN in the water? I don't know. That's a question that's been brought up several times.